Hey everyone, welcome to the Royce Reports. I'm your host Royce, and if you like everything Xbox, well, then you're in the right place. And today we're actually not talking about exclusively just Xbox. We're talking about what we're going to be expecting in the year 2023, which is, a list. So it's that time of the year, so you know what that means.
Okay, people, tomorrow morning, 10 a.m., Santa's coming to town.
Santa! Oh my God! Santa here? I know him.
List. So I love doing these things. I had a lot of fun with the last one, which the last one, I'll put a link right here for you guys, was about what I expect from Microsoft and the 10 games I'm most excited for in that regard. And today we're going to be going over the 10 games I am most excited for the year 2023. So with that, let's get into the video. All right, so the list is going to be 10 games that I am most excited about for 2023. Now, I have to preface this with what I prefaced with last time, which is this list is not something that you should take as fact or as, this is different from yours, so therefore it sucks. This is just my personal opinion. Now, again, if you want to show your list and share it on the comment section below, I really would appreciate it, and I'd really be interested in seeing what your guys' most anticipated games are for 2023. But because there are so many great games announced for 2023, I have 10 that I'm most excited for, but I also have some honorable mentions, and these are just games that we know of that are coming. There's also going to be times where they're going to announce more titles throughout the rest of the year, so I'm super excited to see what fills out the second half of the year. But this is some honorable mentions that I have for 2023 that didn't quite make the list, and I know that some of you are probably really gonna hate me. Some of these things that are on my list are not what you would expect. Atomic Heart didn't make the list. I am super excited to play this. This gives me a lot of BioShock vibes, and that's a great thing. But at the same time, the game kind of looks a little bit clunky to me. I think that we're not getting a whole lot of what the whole game is. We just keep getting a montage of fighting scenes, and I kind of want to know what more of the game is about. Is there more exploration involved? Is there any RPG elements to it? Is it just like a simulator like how Dishonored and BioShock are, or is it more than that? And I still can't get a good reading off of it, and so I'm kind of hesitant. It is coming to Game Pass, so I'm excited about that, but for those reasons I couldn't put it on the list. But it does look really fucking cool. Another one that's coming to Game Pass as well is Wolong Fallen Dynasty. This game looks pretty cool. I like that they're working with the guys that made Ninja Gaiden again. This is really awesome to see them work with Team Ninja, and I hope that this game, just does well, and I want it to do well. It looks to be takes a lot of inspiration from the From Software games, which is kind of weird because I feel like From Software is taking a lot of inspiration from Team Ninja and Ninja Gaiden. So it's pretty interesting that it's kind of going back to that. I haven't played the demo, but I heard a lot of mixed things about it. But from what I see, it looks pretty intense and fun. The next one on the list is surprisingly a Nintendo game, The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm actually pretty big Zelda fan. I love Ocarina of Time. I love Majora's Mask, but my favorite Zelda game has to be A Link to the Past. That is my favorite game of the Zelda series. And whenever there's games like that, similar to A Link to the Past, like A Link Between Worlds, or even the Game Boy Advance games, and also with the Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening. These are my favorite types of Zelda games. I'm not really the biggest fan when it comes to the other ones, and I haven't really dabbled in any of the GameCube or further ones, but I did go back to it once they came out with Breath of the Wild. It is a great game that I played on deployment, and so I do enjoy. I don't enjoy the idea of it because it reminds me of deployment, but I love a lot of what Breath of the Wild brought to the industry, and Tears of the Kingdom seems to be a great follow-up to that from what I could see. Not, like I said before, I'm not a big Switch guy. I do own a Switch, and I probably will dust it off to play this one. Diablo 4. So Diablo 4 is a game by Activision, and it is the fourth Diablo game. Go figure, right? But I am not a big Diablo fan. I never really got into it. And speaking of deployment, and speaking of the Switch, Diablo 3 was something that a lot of people got into and played. And I remember just trying to catch up with a lot of people with that. I was always behind due to standing a lot of watch and doing other stupid fucking bullshit for the military. But this does look really good. I was actually sold on this immediately from the trailer back at the Xbox event, and I really do think I'm gonna be maybe dipping my toe into this one and seeing what it's about. I'm not the biggest Diablo fan, but this really did look really good. Another one is Marvel's Spider-Man 2. Now, I gotta be transparent here. I have played Marvel's Spider-Man, but I have not beaten the game. But I do love their Spider-Man. I love the way they make New York look. I love the way Spider-Man feels when he swings. I love everything about this game. It's really a standout in the Sony exclusives and in last gen at all. So this is really cool. I still need to go and beat Marvel Spider-Man and also, you know, go through Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales. But this one, I'm glad that Venom is going to be a huge villain in this upcoming game, and that should be very interesting. I'd like to see what Insomniac's take is on that guy. And the thing is that Insomniac is just never ending, just continues to knock it out of the park. So I'm super excited to see what they have to offer with this one. Stalker 2, Heart of Chernobyl, is also another game I'm really looking forward to, and that is because of the hard work and dedication of the people in Ukraine that are making this game have gone through in order to try to get this game out, and them moving away from Ukraine and having some of the developers go and fight in the war in Ukraine is really honorable, and it's a really cool story. And so I want to dive into it just because of that. But I've never played a Stalker game, so I don't really know too much about it. It does look fascinating. It does look like it could make me want to play some more Fallout. So anything that is Fallout related, I am obviously all about, and this seems to remind me a lot of that. So I'll probably be also dip my toe in this, and it's also coming to Game Pass. Stellar Blade, this was announced as a multi-platform game previously, but then went exclusive to PlayStation 5, and this was one of the games I was actually looking forward to. But it looks amazing, and I really don't know why, but it looks really good, and it just caught my eye. The Wolf Among Us 2 is the last of the honorable mentions, and I'll get into the list. This video is already running pretty long here, but The Wolf Among Us 1 is one of the best Telltale games, in my opinion. I think The Wolf Among Us, The Walking Dead Season 1, and the Borderlands Telltale game are all tied for some of the best storytelling games in the industry, in my opinion. And The Wolf Among Us actually got me into reading the Fable comic book series, and I can tell you right now that I enjoyed the game a lot more than the comic book series for sure. I read like 100 issues of that game, and I just felt like I wasted my time. But they does a great job at pretty much taking from the source material and improving upon it. And so I'm excited to see where they go with The Wolf Among Us 2. So that was all the honorable mentions. And I know it was a long list of honorable mentions, and you're probably surprised that some of those games maybe didn't make the cut of the list that I've already made. But the list that I have here is actually really, really hard for me to decide. And yeah, I could have swapped some of the games on the upper half of that list with some of these games that are honorable mentions, but I just wanted to also give a shout out and have these other games that I'm excited for kind of shine because of that. Without further ado, let's get into the top 10 lists of games I'm most excited for 2023. Number 10, Skull and Bones. I'm fucking with you. Skull and Bones looks like absolute shit. Number 10 is SpongeBob SquarePants and the Cosmic Shake. And I'm not fucking kidding. This game is coming from the same guys that actually did the SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom remake. Now, if you look at this game, it obviously is a kid game, right? And I know that, but I grew up with the Bikini Bottom game, and that's one of my favorite games. Even after I beat that game a million times, I would still hop into it and just explore Bikini Bottom because they did a great job fleshing out what one of my favorite shows growing up. And if they can capture what they did with this remake and actually take that team and make a brand new game that's supposed to be a direct sequel to this, then I am all in on this. I love Battle for Bikini Bottom, and I love the remaster. And if you look at the line, a lot of people did not like what they did with the remaster, and that's fine. But there's a certain audience for it, and that speaks to me specifically. And so in January, you bet your fucking ass I'm gonna be playing some SpongeBob SquarePants. Number 9. Number 9 is also, you guys are probably gonna hate me, but Avatar Frontiers of Pandora. Now, a lot of you guys probably don't know this about me, but I love Avatar. I love Avatar. Yep, I know that sounds weird. I get it. You're probably already trying to type into the comment section that it's just Ferngully and Dances with Wolves, and I understand that. I've seen that online a million fucking times, but the world of Pandora and the amount of detail that is involved with the creation of Avatar, with them creating a brand new language, them creating flora and fauna, and going and creating a new species and all these other different types of animals. And even in the new one, which I haven't seen yet, I'm actually going to go see tonight in 3D, in Dolby. Oh, I'm so fucking stoked. In this one, they now have created a underwater type feel to it. They created a whole water life and ecosystem in this world, and they continue to build upon it. And I feel like if you can just take a small percentage of that and transport it into a video game and give me a great experience, then I'm all for it. I'm all for it. And I haven't played the Avatar game on the 360, so hopefully I've heard nothing but bad things about that one, so hopefully it's a lot better than that. But yep, I'm not fucking kidding. Number 9 is Avatar. All right, now number 8. This leads into more movie and TV IP, but Hogwarts Legacy is number 8. I'm a big advocate of the very first Harry Potter games, like playing the Sorcerer's Stone and Chamber of Secrets on the PlayStation 1 and original Xbox is one of my favorite memories as a kid as well. And that goes back with the Bikini Bottom game as well. Like, these games are something that were a big part of my childhood. I grew up watching Harry Potter. I felt like I was aging along with them. And my girlfriend is actually a huge Harry Potter nerd. She loves everything Harry Potter. So this is a game that I'm actually excited about because I feel like this is a game that I could watch her play and have fun with and get lost in Hogwarts. And that we haven't been able to have a game that is detached from the story of Harry Potter at all. So this is very interesting to see us go and dive into the wizarding world of Harry Potter without Harry Potter being the main character and allowing us to truly be a wizard in this realm, because that's one of the best parts of the older Harry Potter games was the exploration of Hogwarts and seeing all of the hidden details and different behind the scenes things that we never got to see from the movies. And I feel like this is a great way to continue world building and to continue experiencing that magic. And I know there's a lot of controversy around right now because of J.K. Rowling, but I'm trying to just understand that you have to separate the art from the artist, and the fact that J.K. Rowling has nothing to do with what Portkey and Avalanche Studios is doing with this, and so it's completely separate from her and her remarks. And I'm excited to get my hands on it. Number seven is Lies of P. When this game showed off at the Xbox event, I was blown away. This game is coming to Game Pass, but it looks like a great, unique take on the tale of Pinocchio, and it looks like it takes a lot of elements from Dark Souls style games and is just eating it up. And I love that. I love the aesthetic. I love the feel. I love the gameplay. Like look, I think that I hate Pinocchio, the character. I've always hated it's the character. I think it's one of the most boring fucking stories. So having a unique spin on something that I don't like at all, that is actually making me very intrigued, it means a lot. So I really do want to dive into this, and it is on Game Pass. It will be coming to Game Pass, so it won't even hurt to try it. That's one of the games I'm going to be playing day one whenever it's released. Number 6, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. So I'm going to be honest, I was not really looking forward to this game because of how long it's taken Rocksteady to go from the Batman Arkham games to this. And the Batman Arkham games are, in my opinion, some of the best trilogy of games ever created. Arkham City is one of my favorite games ever made. And if you don't know this about me, I am a huge DC person. I love DC. I love what Batman is, and I grew up with Batman. I grew up with this character, and I know that this is a Suicide Squad game, but there's a very important thing that happened just recently at the Game Awards, which was they announced Batman is in the game, and the person that is voicing Batman is my childhood hero, Kevin Conroy, and it is really awesome to be able to see him portray this character one last time, and that alone is making me just buy this game day one. And I had my doubts about it, but it doesn't matter. All of that means nothing to me because Kevin Conroy is having one last performance that I have to go and I have to see, and that is why that's why it's also so high on the list, even though I'm not excited about it, is because of Kevin Conroy alone. And that's all I need. And I'm glad that he is in this game, because if he wasn't, then this game might not have made the list. But here we are, and it is on the list. But I do want to talk about some of the gameplay elements a little bit. It seems very dynamic with the characters that you can choose from, because everyone is so different in their abilities and different in the way they attack and their combat, and even just by walking it seems like they're all very different and unique. And I think being able to swap between those on the fly will really add a nice element to the game. And if this does take from the Arkham combat, then I'm even more excited because of what Gotham Knights was. I was not a big fan of the Gotham Knights combat. It is different and it's not bad, but it's not what I'm a fan of. I'm a fan of that Arkham Knights style combat, that big open world, that dense city, and I hope that Rocksteady can really nail it with this one. Number 5 is Dead Space Remake. Now, Dead Space is actually one of the first games that I reviewed on my channel a few months back, and I initially planned to go through the Dead Space series, and that has yet to happen, sadly, because I wanted to play the Callisto Protocol because of how Glenn Schofield was attached to that. I wanted to play Callisto Protocol and then jump into Dead Space, and I'm still trying to get all this done. Don't worry, I'm trying my hardest to try to get as much content to you guys as I can, but I've been overwhelmed with everything. But anyways, who cares about that? What I'm trying to say is that Dead Space means a lot to me. Dead Space is one of the first games I reviewed on my channel. Is a game that actually really got me into survival horror in the first place. I love what Dead Space is, and I think more games should take inspiration from this, as well as Resident Evil, of course. But I don't think we have enough survival horror games, and this year proves to be different. This year is packed full of them. So Dead Space is really one of those masterpieces of a game that really captures what survival horror is meant to be. And with these games, these survival horror games, I love the fact that you can play them and you can replay them over and over and over. And I love that about these games. The replay value of these are really what ties these games together. And I hope that they're able to capture that with the Dead Space remake as well. And everything that I've seen about Dead Space remake looks like they are improving upon the original. And what's really cool about that is that they're even getting the voice actor of Isaac Clarke, who didn't start voicing the character until Dead Space 2, to come back and do all the voice acting for Dead Space remake. And that is super fucking exciting. Like, I'm so excited about that. That is how you do a remake. So this is, I'm so stoked to get my hands on Dead Space, and it's only just around the corner. So I can't wait to just go kill some necromorphs. Number four is Replaced, and this game, no matter what, continues to blow me away. I love the aesthetic of this cyberpunk world. This makes me wish that Cyberpunk looked like this game. Like, this game, even though it's pixel art meets cyberpunk, it is so beautiful. And this game is also coming to Game Pass. Now, I don't know what the story is like. We haven't really seen too much of that. I don't know if there's any voice acting involved, but I hope the story is pretty solid. But the gameplay is obviously what's the most important. And it looks to be a side scroller beat 'em up, which can be really great. We look at things like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge, and that was a really fun time. And this is something that can be the next big thing. It could be up there with Limbo and with Inside, and I hope that this game is one of the GOATs whenever it does come out. Now that's a lot to place on this, but I really do think they can knock it out of the park with it. Number 3 is Starfield. Now, if you watched my other video, I actually kind of shit on Starfield a little bit, and I'm gonna continue with that and keep the same energy. I am excited about it because of what it means for Bethesda going forward. I'm excited about Starfield releasing because it means that now Bethesda can focus on Elder Scrolls, can focus on Fallout, and not necessarily be working on Starfield again. And I know that sounds like a really weird, twisted way of thinking about it, but I am excited about Bethesda's Starfield game because of the fact that Bethesda's name is attached to it. That means a lot in itself right there. The things that we have seen are pretty interesting. The factions that they have, the character designs that they have, the fact that you could build your own ship and make it look however you want is really awesome. But the things that I'm upset about are the fact that there are lack of any alien civilizations that we know about, and the fact that we don't really get to play as an alien. I feel like there's not enough sci-fi in gaming, and there's nothing really as big as Star Wars or as big as Mass Effect. And I hope that Starfield is the next big thing. I really do. From what I've seen, it's kind of hard to believe, but maybe what happens in this game is them building the foundation for a sequel where we do know that, hey, we can explore other galaxies and see other aliens and other things like that. It just, the gameplay aspect of it looks pretty weak, but I hope that the time that they have taken to delay the game really does help out and really does make a difference for it. Number 2, Star Wars Jedi Survivor. I am a huge Star Wars fan. I love Star Wars. I love what George Lucas has created, and I have been a Star Wars person ever since I was a kid. I'm not the biggest Star Wars fan. I obviously don't want to take that and run with it. I have watched a lot of the shows. I've watched all the movies. I have never read any of the books, but I have played a lot of the games. If Star Wars is attached to it, I do want to be involved with it. In fact, you can't really see it, but over here is my Lego Millennium Falcon set that I have yet to finish building. That is just kind of sitting there in the background. So if you guys ever wondered what that might have been, that's what that is right there. Also, these right here, right behind my Christmas tree, right here, these little things, these are the Lego art sets of the Sith Lord. So you have Darth Maul, Darth Vader, Kylo Ren, and if you combined all three, you also get a very large Darth Vader that you can see right here. Now, that's just memorabilia, but I love Star Wars. And with Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, this game took me by surprise because of the character Cal Kestis and what it means for the story between episode 3 and 4. And I feel like we don't get enough of what's going on between episodes 3 and 4. I know that that's weird, but all the stuff that we have nowadays takes place after episode 6, and I kind of want to know more about episodes 3 and 4. I know a lot about the Clone Wars, but I don't know enough about what happened between 3 and 4. And seeing Cal Kestis as one of the surviving Jedis and his journey to try to hide that really was very awesome to see and very unique. And Dominic Monaghan, the guy that plays Cal Kestis, I was hoping that this character, because they actually mocapped him and he is the design of the character, that they were going to use him in upcoming projects. Now, I haven't watched Andor, so I don't really know, but I haven't seen Cal Kestis yet in full force, and I kind of want to see him be involved in more than just the games, because he does an excellent job in this game series. And I am excited to see where they go with the story. And with what we saw in the trailer, it looks like Cal is very defeated when it comes to trying to save the Jedi and trying to save any other force sensitive people. But no matter what he does, it seems like the Empire just constantly is getting bigger and bigger. And as obviously we know the outcome of this, we've seen episode 4, 5, and 6, but seeing it from a perspective of someone who looks beat and just tired, I really do hope that this can lead to not just a Jedi, but someone more like one of the gray Jedis who are in the middle of the light and the dark, who do some dark things, but also dabble in some light things as well. So I really do hope we can see some of that. Obviously, that's just wishful thinking, but Star Wars is a huge deal. And I'm glad that Respawn has done such a great job at creating this world, creating these characters and fleshing them out. And Respawn has been non-stop with their releases. You had Titanfall, Titanfall 2, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Now you're going to have Star Wars Jedi Survivor. And they have not missed a single beat yet. And they are a very, very talented studio. And every game that they come out with is just better than the last. So hopefully this is even better than the previous one, and the previous one I feel like got kind of overshadowed by a lot of things and should have been nominated for a Game of the Year, but it did not. But hopefully this one changes that. Number 1, Resident Evil 4 Remake. Woo! Resident Evil 4, baby. Yeah, that is what I'm fucking talking about. That is the trailer that fucking blew me away immediately. I even pre-ordered the big fucking deluxe edition for this game, because I'm super fucking excited about this. I love Resident Evil. Resident Evil is one of my favorite franchises. And in fact, Resident Evil 2 Remake is one of my favorite games ever. I think Resident Evil 2 Remake is even better than the original. I fucking said it. But what really got me into Resident Evil, which is surprisingly enough, Resident Evil 7. Resident Evil 7 was the first time I actually played a Resident Evil game from start to finish. And I have dabbled in Resident Evil before during the PlayStation 1 generation and the GameCube and stuff. But I never really appreciated it until I played Resident Evil 7 Biohazard. That's when I really understood what Resident Evil was. And I know that that game is obviously completely different from the mainline series, but what propelled me into the franchise and really brought me to love this game series more than I ever could. I've gone back and I've played all of the Resident Evil games, start to finish, trying to complete them all. And Resident Evil 4 and 2 are some of my favorite Resident Evil games, along with 7 and 8. But Resident Evil 4 is truly something special, and I can't wait to see what they do with it. Because if they take some of the elements that were removed from the original game and implement it into this one, as well as make it more focused on the survival horror aspect of it, I think you could make what Resident Evil 4 was, which is one of the best games of all time, and make it even better. Because that game, to me, wasn't really survival horror. It was really more action horror. And there's nothing wrong with that by any means. But when you look at a game of like what they did with Resident Evil 2, I love to have that same vibe. And this is the same team that is doing Resident Evil 2. It's not the Resident Evil 3 remake team. It is the Resident Evil 2 remake team. And there's nothing really wrong with Resident Evil 3, in my opinion. It's just other than it being super short. You can beat that game in less than 2 hours. And the fact that a lot of the team wasn't really hitting it on all cylinders like Resident Evil 2 was, I think this can be a real defining moment for the Resident Evil franchise, and I'm excited to see where they decide to take this franchise going forward. And if they are going to remake another one, I hope they go back and do Code Veronica, because I would love to experience that game on something other than my 360. You're able to play it via backwards compatibility, so I'm glad I have that. But I would love to see a Code Veronica remake, hopefully. But that is my number one, and I know that I'm probably upsetting a lot of you guys because there's some games on here that I didn't even talk about or mention, like Redfall, like Pragmata, like Exoprimal, and I understand that, and I understand your frustration, but this list is my list. And I hope that you guys enjoyed watching it and seeing what my ideals are when it comes down to gaming, and what it means for me to be excited about all this stuff. Because 2022 was a very lackluster year, and the only reason why it was so good was because, well, Sony and Nintendo. But this is a year that Xbox is finally going to be coming out full swinging, and I hope that things like Forza Motorsport, Starfield, and Redfall do hit it out of the park. And I hope that Avowed can make it into this year. That hasn't been announced. We don't know for sure when Avowed is coming, but if it does come this year, it would have been on this list if it was announced, but we don't know when that's coming. But what do you guys think? I want to know what your opinions are. I want you guys to please drop some comments down below of what your top 10 games are, and some honorable mentions, or if that's too much, then top 3, top 5, whatever it is. I love having this feedback with you guys and seeing where your games are and what you value the most. So please drop some comments down. I appreciate you guys for stopping by, and I really do appreciate you guys for subscribing. My initial goal was to get 100 subscribers by the end of the year, and I have now reached 159 that I know of. And that is awesome. That is I'm so thankful for you guys for doing that and for really making my goal and almost doubling, which is really crazy to me. So thank you for stopping by. Thank you for subscribing. And most importantly, stay safe during the holiday. We only have a few days until Christmas, so please be safe out there. I know that is really cold coming down and hitting the States really hard. So be careful. Be safe. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. And I'll be seeing you guys on the next one. And remember, take it easy.